the coasters if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, pal.
Absolutely.
I'm just a big coaster guy. I'm like a
actual vinyl rep.
nah. I'm just a coaster Nazi.
Are you? You
Yeah.
go as far to say that.
I just huh? Oh. Now we are.
Make sure you.
Did you get that?
Did
you get that?
Open the podcast on that line.
Did you get that? You got that? Okay, we're just referring to, I don't like wet counters. Yeah. Use a coaster if they're
What'd
there.
you say?
What's that? Yeah, just put it down right there. But Mike, can I tell you something, bro?
Sure.
Can I tell you something? Well, there's two mics here. How about that?
All right, I'm scared.
I want to tell you, and I want to tell everyone that it is great to be back and to be recording and to actually be releasing content, because this week, this podcast is going to come out weeks prior to us recording it today, as everyone knows. But this week was our first our first vlog that we've dropped since, I took a little bit of a hiatus. I took like about a few weeks off, which in turn basically becomes a month, because, you have to backlog everything and you don't have any content to post out. So we just released the Atmosphere Music Festival vlog, created and shot by Z Visions, our lovely editor for the Middleman Podcast. One hell of a mind on him, and he did a phenomenal job. It did some really great numbers, and it's still climbing to this day. And it's really, it feels great to just have that reciprocation from the people, from the viewers, because I haven't posted in about over a month.
When did you post that?
I posted that on Tuesday. Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah.
On YouTube, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
On YouTube.
Where are you at now?
As far as views,
Yeah.
183.
183.
Yeah, 183.
That's pretty good.
Within like the first day, we were able to get like about 60 or so.
Nice.
And
that's organic.
Yeah, super organic. Everyone who was a part of festival supported it. We've been sitting on that footage for a very long time, and to finally be able to put it out and give people a movie that we've said we wanted to do. We've got some really great feedback from it. I know one person had mentioned, they were like, I really wish that there was a little bit more footage of people's performances. And he said, but at the same time, it made me feel like, damn, you just had to be there. And that's what it was, bro.
Did you just say you were going to make a movie? Like you guys want to make
it was essentially like you ever hear it's a movie. Yeah. That's what I'm putting it in context to, which it kind of was, as far as like vlog content goes. It was a great video, just project put together by Z Visions, and it was a fantastic time to do. So with that being said, it is great to be back. My energy's lifted, and it's like I'm submerged into the work again. Like 1,000%, I am submerged back into it, because it wasn't until this week that I had to start making reels again, and I had to start putting captions up again.
It's fucking grind.
And I had to, yeah, exactly. And I have another vlog that I'm planning on dropping next week of the Electric City Music Conference that I am currently working on, and I'm sending notes for this podcast that needs to be edited on. So we're fully back in it, bro. We're in full swing. The Middleman Podcast is back. I am your host, Kevin Martinez, joined here for episode 115. Correct, 115 by the man. What's that?
Is it $1.15?
Yeah.
Like,
yep. You were episode 115. Is that significant to you by any chance?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but thanks for having me. I was like, is there any numerology to this? No.
No. And you are Mike. And I don't want to pronounce
115. Okay, that was my address growing up as a kid. 115 Roma Avenue on Staten Island, New York. So that is kind of significant, actually.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Can I look up this address right now?
Go ahead.
All right, hold on. Like childhood house type of deal?
Yes.
Okay, so it was 115. What was he?
Roma Avenue. Roma.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Staten Island.
Yeah.
Amazing. That was your home right there?
Holy fuck, dude. Yes.
Well, ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
I was just making a joke. And here we are.
At first, I was like 115. When you said it like that, it didn't ring a bell. But 115, that rings a bell.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. Well, welcome to the show, Mike. As I said, you are episode 115. Guys, Mike, I want to pronounce your last name. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Farnolo?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Mike Farnolo is here joining me on the Middleman Podcast. And you and I, we have met organically at the YMCA.
Where'd we meet?
Yeah. At the YMCA.
Where specifically?
The steam room, I believe. Yeah, the steam room.
Fuck yeah, dude. I love the steam room.
What were you going through at that time that brought you to the steam room?
I'm always going through some shit. Yeah.
I was going through a detox phase in my life. Do you remember that?
I don't really remember, like, when was that? I can't. It was like 2023, I think.
It was definitely a year ago.
Yeah, 2023.
1,000% a year ago. And the only reason I know that is because I just reached a year at my current job right now. And so I was preparing myself to be able to get this job by doing the steam room. And at that point in my life, I had actually experienced my first time getting fired.
Nice,
and that was fucking wild. You know, I just
That was
came
your
out.
first time?
First time. Came out of left field, man.
You're a rookie, right?
Yeah, it came out of left field. And I was like, you know, that's...
How'd you get fired?
How did I get fired? I got fired because I put a target on my back. Yeah, I put a target on my back within... So I worked for this place, then I left. Well, my 2 weeks I left. Worked at another place a year later. A year later, I was like, all right, let me go back to this place, get more money, da-da-da, right? I got in there, cool. My job, my work is HVAC. So, you know, we have special licenses and we have, you know, codes and things that we have to abide to, you know. Rule number 1 is refrigerant. You can't cut the lines anymore. You have to recover it, put it in a cylinder, bring it to the warehouse. They clean it up, and then that way they can repurpose the refrigerant rather than letting it off in the atmosphere where you destroy the ozone layer. Okay. Well, there was a coworker of mine who just didn't care. And he was letting the gas out. And as a matter of fact, it was over here at Lackawanna College, and I was one of their biggest customers. And so I just refused to work. I kind of sat in a different room, and, you know, an associate came up to me and asked, hey, what's going on? Why are you back here? And I was like, I'm sorry, but he's doing something that is completely illegal, and I'm not losing my license or going to jail for this. So I'm just not going to partake. And so my manager got wind of that. And, you know, ever since that day, I put a target on my back. So 4 weeks later, I was fired.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, 4 weeks later, I was fired. It was just it was a bunch of little bullshit. Yeah. Apparently, I argued with someone, a grown-ass man. I didn't argue with him. As a matter of fact, he yelled at me. And I looked at him and I said, why are you yelling? You know, why are you yelling? Why are you doing this right now? But, you know, seniority, they're going to take his side. Yeah. So there was another thing. And then apparently at this hotel up in Bethlehem, I said something and cook didn't like it. Yet the cook gave me a burger before I left. So I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. I was working diligently, was I not? But whatever. That's neither here nor there. I got fired. YMCA. Months go by. Years go by. A year goes by. You and I have talked about doing a podcast. You were running your podcast, Surreal Surreal. And we never made the show happen until now. So, yeah, that's what brought me to the YMCA, bro. So that you just heard a little bit about my life and what I did. And you had shared that you grew up in, or you were in Staten Island, 1115 Roma Ave. Correct?
115, yeah.
115, 115. You know, and I think it's significant to people who don't know you, especially my crowd. That maybe you'll mention a little bit of your childhood. You know, were you born in New York, or are you from there?
Staten Island. Yeah.
Okay, so you're from there. And when did you migrate to Pennsylvania?
When I was 14. That was 2004.
And what do your parents do?
What do they do?
Yeah.
Like right now, or like?
Well, when you were growing up,
nobody special. You know, my mother works for a vet hospital right now, just as a receptionist. You know, she does all that stuff. And my dad, I don't even know what he does now. I think he was always involved in construction. I haven't spoken to my dad in years.
Okay, all right.
I honestly don't know what he's doing now. Probably
not the strongest relationship there, I'm assuming.
No.
Okay.
No. but it's cool because it's like we love each other. But it's kind of like, I don't know. There's like, I haven't figured that out yet, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a deep fucking topic.
That is a super deep.
I will totally talk
about it.
I
think we should, because I mean, like, you haven't quite figured it out yet. I don't want to like I don't want to pry too much, but what is there to figure out? I obviously don't know the dynamic of you and your father. So like, you know.
Well, my dad was 19 when he had me. And so was my mom. So they were both like really young, you know? And I don't know, like my dad was like one of those people who was like always trying different things. Like he was a tattoo artist, like an artist, like a super fucking good artist, like some of the best like art like I've seen ever in my life. He did sketches and shit. But he was always in and out of jobs, like construction jobs and stuff, but everybody loved him. But he was in and out of our life. Me and my sisters.
Yeah.
You know? This was like the Staten Island era, whatever. So we ended up moving to PA. My dad stayed in Staten Island. My mom and her parents, like that whole side of the family, moved up here. to the Poconos, Pocono Lake
Mm-hmm.
or Pocono Pines. And I went to Pocono Mountain West. I graduated in 2007.
You and I went to the same high school. Actually,
You went to West
all
too,
of
right?
us.
Yeah,
all of us.
You
Yeah,
went to West too?
even
Fucking
Michael.
shout out. That's crazy. Fuck yeah.
West fam, W's
Yeah.
in the house.
Let's go. PMW, baby. W's all
Panthers,
day.
Panthers.
Yeah, the West
So-
is the best.
2007, you graduated high school. What were you looking forward to doing after high school?
So, yeah, I always wanted to make it in Hollywood. I had like this Hollywood dream. So, like, I went to the New York Film Academy. I moved in with my dad after like not speaking to him for years. And then like I bridged the gap and he still lived in Staten Island. He's like, yeah, come, you could live with me and my girlfriend. You go to film school, pursue your career, whatever. And that was right around the point in my life where I started smoking weed on the reg.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it was giving me more like creative insight. And this was just when
Mr. Wake and Bake.
This
you know,
is just when YouTube started like coming out, basically.
when the YouTube app on your iPhone was the TV,
Yeah.
the old TV.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. 2000, we're talking 2008, the beginning
Okay.
of 2008.
Well, may I
Facebook
ask
was
you?
just coming out.
May I ask you what? Why you wanted to pursue like theater and film and things of that nature? Did you do anything in high school, such as theater or anything like that?
Yeah, I was in a film class. We didn't do much, but I used to make movies with my friends. It was funny because I was listening to Chris talk about this. I have an old YouTube channel too. I would never give you the link to it.
Ah, damn.
No, you don't want to see it.
What's on there?
Me and my friends always make it just a cynical joke that it's so bad. It's
Okay.
just so cringe. Like,
Well, were you the star when it came to filming these?
we were all the stars.
Okay, so you guys were all the stars.
Yeah.
Okay, got
And
it. So-
that was around like the time where we could use guns and like props and shit and like, roam the streets with just fucking everything. Like,
Yeah,
all
I
the
get it.
costumes and just fucking around using Windows Movie Maker, like the worst editing platform of all time. But it got the job done.
So then you did that. You went over to New York. You're pursuing film. You started getting involved with weed. Where were you going with that?
So yeah, film school was pretty cool. I ended up learning a lot, meeting a lot of good connections, and it felt like it was going to go somewhere. Even my teachers were like, I see the enthusiasm in you. We really think you could make it in this business. And it was during a break that we had before the next semester that I was up in Pennsylvania visiting my mother, and reversed a little bit. This was around the time where I became fascinated with psychedelic mushrooms, but I was always afraid to do them. I was 18 at the time.
This is a topic, yeah.
My dad gave me a mushroom.
Wow, Father of the Year.
Yeah,
Shit, I'll tell you.
Father of the Year
Hey,
award.
my
Thanks, Dad.
father wasn't around. Your father was giving you shrooms.
Yeah, when he was around, for sure. So I was so deathly afraid of this, but I was simultaneously listening to like some of the first videos that Joe Rogan uploaded to YouTube, and he was talking about DMT and mushrooms, and and I had a lot of friends. We smoked weed and stuff, but I never indulged in psychedelics, and so he gave me the mushroom, and I would carry it around everywhere. Like I would take it to film to
shit.
just like show people, like, yeah, look what I got, fucking mushroom. It was crazy, but I ended up not eating that mushroom. But I was always, my dad would always give me weed. I was always like, like we exchange like that. Check out the shit that I got. Like when
Yeah.
my dad was in my life, he was cool as fuck.
Yeah, no,
He's
I
cool
get
as fuck. He wasn't ready to be a father, so to speak.
it. No.
Not saying I was a complete accident. Not me anyway. That was definitely fine. But fucking. So yeah, then I ended up going to Pennsylvania, and my friend had acquired some mushrooms. And shout out Ryan. I'm not gonna say his last name, but shout out Ryan.
Yeah, don't incriminate the man.
All right, so look, he was in his senior year of high school. I was 18. I had already graduated. Oh, I was 18, and he had played hooky that day because we were supposed to both eat the mushroom together in his house. But his mom ended up staying home that same day, so we couldn't trip in the house. So he's like, "Yo, I'm just gonna drop your mushrooms out the window." It's my next door neighbor. All right. So I go over there, I pick up the mushrooms. I remember it's the mid-winter, bro. Mid-fucking winter. There's snow on the ground.
Did it hit the snow?
And did it what?
Did-
Yeah, hit the snow.
it hit the snow, yeah.
And so I picked them up. I'm like looking at them. I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm about to do this for the first time. and I walk back into my grandmother's, because this is where my grandmother lived. I was staying at my grandmother's house at the time, walking through her yard. I'm fucking bundled up in snow pants, like a big winter jacket, the literal Napoleon Dynamite boots, like the snow boots, because the snow was deep. And behind my grandmother's house, miles of game lands. Like if you look on Google Maps, you could see miles of empty game lands.
You want to give me that address? No.
Yeah. No, I mean, you could totally.
No,
it's right near the Jubilee where Chris was.
Okay.
Actually.
All right. Yeah.
And so I'm eating the mushroom. I'm like, oh, these kind of taste fucking a little funky. Like stale popcorn-ish.
Yeah.
A distinct taste. Have you ever tried them before?
I have tried them once in my life, and it honestly wasn't too long ago. And
that's awesome.
Unfortunately, I don't feel like I experienced any psychedelics, but my buddy claims that the conversations we were having definitely unlocked something. You know, he was just like, he's like, you weren't aware of it, but, you know, we were having some pretty deep talks. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. I could see that we were having some pretty intellectual conversation there and some real exchanges amongst each other. I went on a hike when I did it for the first time. I went up to it was an ice cave up in somewhere in New York.
That's
and
sick.
It was super sick. It was amazing. And it was hot as shit. And you walk to this cave and it's like nature's air conditioning. It's amazing. Summit Point. I think that's what it's called.
Sick, bro.
But yeah, so I ate it and then we smoked a joint.
How much was it?
It was my first time doing it, so he gave me just like
Was it a micro
like
dose?
a beginning whatever, like
macro dose?
I wouldn't say micro dose, but I'd say he just gave me like a what a beginner dose would be.
Yeah, maybe like a gram.
Yeah. And not to mention I ate before. He didn't eat, but I ate. And so we smoked the joint. And then the way I describe it was I just felt like the sensation that you get when you are high, it just lasted longer. That was my take on it. Was I just felt like my high lasted longer. Like unlike, you know, you smoke a joint, if you're pretty well versed in smoking, you know, maybe in like 2-3 hours or whatever, you're like, all right, you can roll another one, you know. But that day I was like, no, I feel just about the same. My body felt relaxed. The conversations we were having was real, but I didn't experience nor see anything too trippy.
Yeah.
So that was my first time, and I'm eager. I do want to try it again. And I'm feeling much better now because back then I was a fucking mess. I was in shambles. I was a wreck. So he was like, I think we should do this because he was also going through some shit, and he was like, let's do it. You know, he's done it a handful of times. He knows what to expect. So
yeah, so I ate a full eighth, and I remember as I was eating them and chewing them, a cop drove past me, and cops never drive past.
An eighth sounds like a lot.
Yeah,
for your first time.
Yeah. So
Oh my
I ventured
gosh.
all the way out into the woods. I was very nervous. I was like, I wonder how this is going to affect me. But I sat down at a creek. It was like half frozen. It was still running. And it was a gray, cloudy day. Total gray winter day, right? And I'm fucking sitting there. And I'm sitting there. And I'm sitting there. And then I just like lay down, right? And I'm just like starting to like pay attention a little more to everything. And like I'm starting to just like notice like vivid details of the trees and like the patterns and the colors of them just look very sharp, right? And so I'm like, I think I'm gonna sit up now. And I sat up and I got like this, it's like a trippy, drunky feeling. It's very fucking surreal, dude. And
see what you did there.
Yeah, and so I'm like, just like now my mind is starting to take off, and like every thought that I have is like experienced as like this full experience, like a manifesto of a thought, and I'm seeing what a thought is. And then I would come back to the present moment and see everything again. So it was like that first moment where I distinguished the difference between the power of thinking and just present moment awareness, basically. So I was also feeling like happy in my body too. Like I was just like smiling at things like, like I'm, the first time I'm like paying attention to like, but now I'm starting to overanalyze my body and stuff. And this was before I got into my yogic journey and just my fasting journey and like cleansing journey. I've always been a very worrisome child before this, very nervous, but very extroverted as well. But now this was the first time in my life where it's complete introspection. You know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, there was this one moment, I'll never forget it. It's with me for the rest of my life. I was just sitting there and like I'm starting to figure it out, basically. It was just like, I guess, enlightenment. I never even used this word before. I was born and raised Catholic.
Okay.
Didn't learn shit in church. I just learned that like my idea of God was this bearded man who lived outside of the world and that we needed to obey good things here so that we're led into heaven. I'm pretty sure most people are taught to believe this. It's religious conditioning in a sense. And, you know, Christ was like his right-hand man, basically. So I was coming to discover that, like, I am the center of this moment right now. I'm the only thing that exists. But I'm starting to feel that everything also exists inside of my awareness. And I'm seeing the intricacy of the oneness. So, like, as I'm figuring this out, like, I swear to God, bro, like, the clouds, the sun comes through like a gray, and I'm just like, holy shit. And the birds start chirping, and like a fucking like a beaver or something comes out like of nowhere, dude. And like just everything like happened all at once. It was like this grand experience. I was just laughing hysterical.
It was like it just clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it died down. And then like, you know, I started thinking again. Now I'm thinking about like, I got to go back to society and write a book on
oh my goodness.
Smoke pot, eat mushrooms. That's what I swear to God. That's what I was thinking. Like, I'm just going to publish a book called Smoke Pot, Eat Mushrooms. Never did it.
Wow.
Never will. But yeah, I've lived to tell the tale. You know, maybe someone will write it out there.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
So that was your first experience.
Yeah. And then I was having so many other lessons that I was learning too. My feet were cold. I discovered that they weren't getting enough love. Like it was then I was like, oh, it's all about love. I was like now the Beatles make sense. Like,
yeah.
You know, it was like this revolutionary. I think it was because I was by myself and I shut my phone off. And I remember during the trip, I turned my phone on and like my phone screen, it was like a Motorola flip phone at the time.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I was like texting my boy Ryan. I'm like, yo, how you doing, bro? He's like, yo, this is crazy. I'm watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I was like, holy shit, all right, so that's his trip right now. Like, yeah. I'm out here. The fucking,
by yourself. Was it nighttime at that time?
No,
it was daytime?
Yeah.
Wow. That is insane. You know, as a matter of fact, I do recall hearing you say in, I believe it was a podcast with Chris Jones, that you are the king of tripping by yourself.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah,
I trip alone,
you said
dude.
that. Yeah, you said that. You know, and you held your head high when you said that. Do you feel as if that's the best way for you to work with that psychedelic?
Yes, if I'm trying to achieve like some kind of internal clarity and oneness with, I guess you could say, source. I like to call it God.
Yeah.
I use the word God indifferently now than what I used to and what other people probably use it for.
Well, that's great because it segue into the next topic, which is spirituality, because I know, you know, you are a very spiritual individual, and I knew that just from the conversations that we were having in the past, you know, and I told you earlier before the show started that you give me like a Bob Ross-ish essence, you know, that you're like very, I have right here in the notes that like about your Surreal Surreal, that it is extremely, I love the production. I love the audio sounds great. Like the audio sounds great. The video is chopped up. It's done really well. And I just like was like, you're a really good mediator. Like you really know how to like just get the conversation going and put it to where it needs to go. Like even when someone is talking about something else and you're like, all right, let's refocus. And you can refocus and you have a very calm demeanor to yourself. So it works really well. But you know, of course, with spirituality, you know, I know that's something that you carry with you. It's like an essence. It's like an aura that comes off of you, bro. And I'm being for real when I say that. Have you heard that before? Or you're like, this motherfucker, bro. What was that? What was that?
No, nothing. I was just meditating.
Oh, I was going to ask you, do you meditate as well? I'm sure you do. Yeah.
Dude.
So like, other than this experience on shrooms, was that kind of like what pushed you towards this
Yes.
new ideology and a new way of thinking?
Yeah, so I started getting into yoga and thinking differently. I became a vegan. I started fasting. I lost a shit ton of weight. I was like 124 pounds and I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
So not that I was starving myself. I just think it was the dramatic shift in a diet and becoming like a purist, so to speak. I went through a lot of changes, bro. Worked on a lot of demons. And I was still a virgin at this time, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, which is crazy. I
Yeah.
lost my virginity at 26
Oh,
when I
wait.
was in massage therapy school in New York City. So I did traveling. I moved to Sedona, Arizona, not knowing anybody. I took an Amtrak out there, lived out there for a couple months.
And what, a hostel?
What was that?
Would you
No,
live in that?
I rented out like a trailer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
right outside of Sedona, and I walked into the town of Sedona every day, and I just worked like I wasn't pressured to go to college. I wasn't pressured to get high paying job, become doctor.
Yeah.
So I kind of and my family just wanted us to be happy, just to like get by, pretty much. But I used my early 20s as means of spiritually exploring and finding myself. And I lived in Hawaii as well, 2 separate times, once on the Big Island, another on Maui. So soul searching, but eventually I felt like I was just a leaf blowing in the wind. I wanted to get like strong roots. So 25 rolls around, I enroll in massage therapy school. And now I'm starting to embrace my humanness. I was on some spiritual hiatus, I guess you could say. I really didn't talk to anybody from my past.
Well,
anymore.
let me interrupt you real quick. I'm just want to know more about this spiritual hiatus that you took. Like what were you discovering about yourself?
Okay.
What did you change? Like what was your upbringing and family? What was the main religion in your family? Was there any religion forced upon you?
It wasn't really forced upon me.
Mhm.
We went to church every Sunday. I made my communion, never made my confirmation. But after the mushroom trip, that's when my thinking started changing. That's when everything started. Now I'm curious, like, who am I? What is this? Like what happens when we die?
Yeah.
Like really facing my mortality. Yeah. And just a quick thing, when I got back from the mushroom trip, I started picking up trash that I saw around my grandmother's yard. And I remember she came out and she started bitching at me about something. I was coming down from the high and she was pissed. I just remember looking at her and I started laughing hysterical, bro, like in tears. And she looked at me. She's like, "What do you want, fucking mushrooms?" Because my family, they're very vulgar, like a large Italian family. We don't,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with the fucking typical Italian attitude growing up in New York,
You don't have an accent, which I'm surprised.
I lost it.
Ah, okay.
I started pronouncing my R's. Yeah, thank God. Thank God.
Wow.
Yes, I did. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Michael says he became a better driver. He's not by the microphone right now because he is doing his job. Director of the year. Give it up for Michael
Mike, you're doing a great fucking
Incarnato.
job. Let's give him some W's in the chat. Let's get some W's in the chat.
This is
for
our
Mike. Come
Jamie
on.
right here,
Let's
killing
go,
it every
bro.
single
Let's
day,
go.
man. So, so back to it. What were you changing about your spirituality? Like, what were you finding? What did you maybe turn to first? Did you try one and then you were like, maybe I want to do this. Maybe I like this.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I started reading the Bible, like to myself, not even going to church. And I was reading the Gospels. And at the same time, I was also going to Barnes and Nobles. And this book stood out to me. It was called Autobiography of a Yogi. And that was my first spiritual book outside of the Bible that I read. And it really changed my perception on everything. Just a quick rundown. The book is about a yogi in the early 1900s from India that had a guru whose lineage came from the ultimate timeless yogi, Babaji. That's what they call him, who is also associated with Jesus Christ. This is what the book talks about.
Okay.
And, he talks a lot about this specific yoga technique called Kriya Yoga, which essentially erases all of your karma, your human karma, so that you could achieve a state of God consciousness, which is one with everything.
I'm sorry, that sounds extremely unique. Could you repeat? How do you spell that, bro? Because I need to read about this.
Oh,
Because that sounds...
It's one of George Harrison's favorite books.
Sounds interesting. What is it called again? What type of...
Autobiography of a Yogi.
No, but what was that?
Kriya Yoga, Kriya, and the Sanskrit term for that is action. Basically, it's a specific action that you
Kriya
do.
Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What is Kriya Yoga technique? And is a highly advanced Raja Yoga technique of, I'm not even going to attempt to say that, that reinforces and revitalizes subtle currents of life energy in the spine and brain. Interesting. Love it. Okay, continue. Sorry. I was just really fascinated by that, to think, to get rid of your karma through
It's designed
yoga.
to purify your psyche, basically, so that you could perceive the light of God at the center of you. This is what the yogis believe. This is their lineage of
Have you
spirituality, and that
partaken?
seemed attainable. Yes,
Yeah.
so I did. I started practicing meditation.
Yeah.
That's around the time I moved out to Sedona, Arizona. And I also simultaneously found this man on YouTube who I still listen to today. He has a whole channel. His name is Lincoln Gurgar, and he does this thing called channeling. Are you familiar with what channeling is?
I am familiar with the term, yes.
So basically, somebody surrenders their personal ego,
Mm-hmm.
their personal mind, and they let something speak through them. So people do this with aliens or extraterrestrials or like divine angels and stuff. You could see it. It's in the spiritual community, the New Age spiritual community. This guy, Lincoln, he channels the higher self-consciousness, okay? And he calls this a state that we're all connected to. There's no separateness. It's all one, basically. And it's a state that exists first at the center of you. And the more you take your personalized awareness into the center of your heart, the more you perceive the oneness of the forms all around you.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially the idea. Kriya Yoga is kind of the same thing, except it teaches you how to do like specific breathing techniques so that to like erase the karma that's stuck in the psyche, aka the chakras, the energy centers through the spine.
I love these conversations. I really do, because, I am a fan, and I like listening to it and indulging in it because, like, I often refer to like the third eye. I hear about that, and everyone's like, you have a pineal gland, and you can do so much more if you just clean yourself up, clean up your chakra, clean up the whatever you're eating. You change up your entire diet. Things like that, and then people say that they see certain things or that they feel more connected to an inanimate object because of these life-changing experiences. And it's like, to me, you said you thought it was obtainable, so you did it. And how far did your journey go?
Well, I'm not levitating.
Okay.
But I've had some out-of-body experiences to show me basically that I am not my physical body. We're not the story of thoughts that happens in the head. Like, we're so much beyond that. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm either going to go all the way to like total enlightenment, which I feel like I got very close. And then I got involved in the world or something. And I kind of pushed off a little bit because it wasn't like necessary anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What was necessary was building my roots, making money now, and creating like a physical life. I didn't want to mooch anymore, so to speak, and just get by. It's like my whole attitude changed. And maybe I pretty much accepted now the next decade or two of my life, I'm going to hone in on creating like generational wealth through things like YouTube and TikTok and content creation and brands maybe eventually. And then in my 50s, 60s, I'm going to get back into the spirituality and go all the way.
I like that, man.
Yeah,
you said you had experienced some out-of-body, experiences. Could you care to elaborate on one?
Yeah, they're scary as fuck, dude.
Yeah, I would love. I want to hear about this a lot. I really do.
All right.
Like, did you saw yourself sitting there? Is that?
Yeah. So like they would happen to me accidentally. There's techniques on how to provoke them, like feeling like 2 feet above your crown chakra as you're falling asleep, and you have to like breathe and trace your awareness up out of your crown and then relax it as you exhale back down to the root chakra, and exhale and just like relax more and more every time you do it to put the body to sleep, but you keep your mind awake essentially. But I never tried that. It just started happening to me at night. I would wake up in the middle of the night and my body was asleep, and like I was awake, like clear as day. and I could see. It's almost like I could just like see everything, even though it was dark. And my body would start to vibrate. It would start from a very like, and it got your body, like it felt like it was vibrating. And then I start to drift out of my body, and I try to like wake myself up out of it because it's so fucking intense.
Yeah.
Like I was always afraid of seeing a demon, you know, like I think that's everybody's biggest fear when it comes to astral projection. Astral projection being like coming out of your physical body, being completely aware. But lucid dreaming is completely different. That's when you're awake in a subconscious dream and you have control over the subconscious dream. I don't think it does that. I've never done it personally, but I don't see the point in it. Astral projection's much more powerful.
Yeah, that sounds insane, man. I don't. So you were able to get out of these out of body experiences. You felt that. How often did you experience that type of?
Yeah, maybe like 5 times a week out of 7 days. I would wake up in the middle of the night. It would happen every night. Yeah, and I would always wake myself up out of it as I started. As I drifted out, I'm like, all right, it's real. I believe it. Yeah, I don't want to go any further.
Did you ever speak to anyone who may have gone all the way?
Yes. Lincoln Gergar. He is a spiritual master in my eyes.
Okay.
I've done so much fucking researching on YouTube, just looking for a teacher to show me the way. Teach me how to be fucking happy. Teach me how to master my mind. Teach me how to feel better in my body. And be legit about it. Don't just want my fucking money. You know, and Lincoln, he is that guy. If you tap into his videos, you know, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Because he guides you into yourself. And there's something about his energy that just feels very safe. You know, like, I could just like relax. I could just like be here and like receive this. It's like, it's helping me through this.
In your spiritual journey, what was a really pivotal moment in your life there that you experienced?
Every mushroom trip I've ever done.
Yeah.
Okay. I've done a lot. That usually, it's always a reminder to that which is already here with us now. It's always with us, but it's like, hey, look at this, you know? Like, that's why sometimes I'm afraid to take them, because it's like, I know what I'm in for. And I always ask the mushroom, be gentle on me, because I like to take a lot.
Yeah.
So give me the fucking the cold hard truth, you know?
Yeah. No, that's an experience, man. That's an experience, especially with the spirituality, man. I've always been intrigued in it. You know, I always love hearing about it. You know, I always love hearing about how some people claim that they can see colors coming off people because of their aura and, you know, what they represent. And I always wonder, like, what would someone see from me, you know, and things like that. And it's extremely interesting. You know, I've never had the discipline. That takes a lot of discipline.
You don't tell your future right now?
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it. What do you got?
Let's hear it? I don't know.
Am I married? Do I have kids? Do I have a dog or a cat?
Yes, I see that.
Do I have a dog or a cat?
You're on the beach.
So that brings us to so you did some traveling. You went to Arizona, and you know it's interesting because I have in my notes here that you are a jack of all trades, and you just seem like someone who's always looking for something new to do. And you had mentioned that, you know, you felt like a floating leaf, and that's a great comparison, and you wanted to get your roots down. So how did you start to get your roots down? What came after all of these solo missions, man? It sounds like you had such a great 20s, man. Hawaii twice, Arizona.
It was pretty crazy.
Like, what the fuck?
And when I turned 30, I had my daughter, actually. Yeah, so a lot of I don't want to say failed, a lot of relationships that came to an end. Heartbreak, learning romance, basically, because in my later 20s, I went to massage therapy school, got my license to practice massage therapy. A couple of years later, when my daughter was born, I got my real estate license to sell real estate. And then as of recent, I also got my CDL, Class A. 3 different trades.
3 different trades.
You know, I'm that type of person that I'm not afraid to just do anything. I'll try something. I've even had an OnlyFans. You know, not a lot of people know that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Are you plugging in your OnlyFans right now? Is that what's happening?
No, I don't have my link. Sorry.
You don't use it anymore? No. Did you like sell feet pics on that shit?
No, I only had gay subscribers. I made like $90.
Hilarious. Bro.
Yeah, I actually made
Absolutely
money. Yeah.
Hilarious.
I tried it.
Hey, whatever.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Whatever worked. And I saw that from you. and day one that you're an entrepreneur, because I know you were talking to me about real estate and doing that, you know. So when I first met you, you were definitely pushing real estate. The next time I saw you, you're like, yeah, now I'm doing my CDL.
Yeah, like
so. It's like, wait, hold up, like what's going on here, Michael? You got something?
$90 is $90.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out, Mike.
It's a $90 is $90. I want to just take a moment here to break in the conversation so we can enjoy tea time. Not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona iced tea. So let's get into tea time. I'm going to get my Arizona in here. I'm a little thirsty. That's kind of why I really wanted to do it. So we're going to take a break here in the conversation.
Is this like ASMR right now?
Yeah, that's what that was. So cheers to tea time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona iced tea. Yeah. This is a new tea time segment here with Mike Farnolo. I hope I'm saying that. Like,
it's Sicilian, brother.
Could I say it?
There's like no Farnolos in America. You know that?
Can I like say it more fluent? I feel like I'm
Farnolo.
Farnolo. Okay.
No, that was Russian. No,
okay. Here with Mike Farnolo. Mike, I told you about tea time. I told you what it was all about. We got the teapot right over here. We have questions in there.
Questions in the chat.
And Michael had thrown a question in there as well. So maybe we pull his question today. We'll see. So would you be so kind, my good man, to pass me the teapot, please? Absolutely. And we'll get the first question going here. Here we go. Mike, I'm going to pull the first one, and I'll let you pull the second one, all right? So let's see what we got.
Wait, am I asking you a question?
No, so these are questions from our guests and our viewers, random questions to break into conversation, to just get away from the topic at hand for a minute, okay? So this is tea time.
I like that. That's a good fucking idea.
It is tea time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. We're doing this in order to get an Arizona Iced Tea sponsorship, okay?
Yo, you got to be on TikTok, bro. You have to be on
We'll
TikTok.
get into that.
All right.
We'll get into that, bro. Don't you worry. We'll get into it. All right, question here. Our first question. I wrote it today. Oh, this is a good one. I like this. I'm very happy for it. Mm-hmm. And this is for me, too, so not just you. Have you stolen anything?
Have I stolen anything?
What is the worst thing that you stole? Do you have any regrets? Was it thought out? And what was your favorite part?
Shit, bro. You're fucking, like, putting me on the spot right now.
Yeah. Have you ever stolen anything?
Yeah, fuck yeah. From Wegmans, and I got busted.
Oh, Wegmans busted. Okay.
Yeah, I took, like, a thing of cantaloupe, and I ate it walking around. I was at a festival on break at the time while I was enrolled in massage therapy school in New York City. I was with a friend. I just, like, left it there, and I just, like, kept walking. It was, like, $5 and the cantaloupe was not good.
Oh, man.
It was, like, you know what I'm saying? So then this guy, like, rushed out. He, like made me go in the back. He's like, sit down right now. Like, and he's like trying to like humiliate me. And I'm just like smiling at him. And he's like, this world sucks because of people like you. And he's like going off on me. I'm just like smiling. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to take your picture right now and you're going to be in the news tomorrow. So he like took a picture. I was still smiling.
Are you on shrooms? Are you on shrooms at this time, bro? You sound extremely happy.
I was not. I was not. But I was talking to who was soon to be my next first girlfriend. So I was kind of like riding that emotional wave.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, I just didn't take it serious. And then, yeah, that was probably, that's the one time I could remember. Did I learn anything from it? No, absolutely not.
So any regrets?
No.
And what was your favorite part?
Going to see the judge in Williamsburg about it. And paying my fine, and what the judge said. He's like, oh, that's it? He's like, you drove all the way out here for that? Get out of here.
No shit.
Yeah, I swear to God.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. How much was the fine?
I think it was like 2 something.
Are you banned from that Wegmans?
I am, but I've been back since. Yeah. I go to Wegmans all the time. Not out there, but I've been back to
that motherfucker right there, man. Yeah, motherfucker right there. All right. Have I stolen anything? Yes, I have stolen, obviously, just as everyone else. I have stolen a pack of gum, and I did get caught, but not by any like authority, just by like older person who was with me. But that's not the one that I want to highlight. I did steal from a friend. I borrowed Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, let's just say, for PSP, and his name was Josh. And yeah, Josh was a pretty
just call him out.
Josh was a pretty cool kid. And Josh,
in the comments, like, so he knows it.
Josh is still dating the girl that he's been dating since high school, and like I used to help his girlfriend in Spanish class, like with tests and shit like that. So like Josh and I, he'd always be like, "Yo, bro, you never gave me back that Grand Theft Auto." I'm like,
Oh shit.
yeah, bro, you're not getting that back.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, sorry, dude.
That shit's like PSP like 5 years ago, dude. You're not
you ain't
getting
pulling
that
out your
back.
PSP.
So yeah, man, I was one of the borrowers.
Yeah, I've done it. Now that you're mentioning it, I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it. I've done it with Super Monkey Ball 2 for the GameCube in high school. With my friend Casey, and my friend Steve. We borrowed Super Smash Bros. Melee, and then there was one day a month later he was gonna come back to get it, and me and my friend planned to like get him so stoned that he forgot to take it home.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. I still have it. I still have it.
Wow, insane! You still play it?
I do, yeah,
Wow.
from time to time with
Awesome.
my younger brother. But I play more Smash Ultimate.
I think my favorite part of stealing that was just years later when he asked me about it and said, "Yo, am I gonna get that back?" And I'm like, "Come on, bro."
Yeah, right.
Like
It's been
really?
this long, dude.
Do you still even have the PSP? Like, talk to me, bro.
He sees it on Marketplace. like,
Michael,
the
you
next
got
day.
anything? Let's hear
Nah,
it.
I never stole from a store. or
I don't
anything.
believe you.
Nah, never.
I don't believe you.
I did actually steal something, but I didn't try to.
Yeah,
I
you
just
stole
walked.
my,
I was like school shopping with my brother,
and you stole my heart.
And I took some underwear. I just walked out with it,
I'm sorry.
and then I stole your heart.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect. Mike, let's pull out the second question here for tea time. I'll let you do the honors. If it's my handwriting and you can't read it,
Let's
please
get Michael
let me
to
know.
do it. We want Michael to do it.
Well, Michael to
Come
do
on,
it?
Want me to
come
do
on.
it?
Yeah, come in
Yeah.
the shot, bro. Come in the shot. Guys, Michael Incarnato here.
Well, we need that handsome face over here.
He just got a fresh cut today. Looks
Give
great.
it up for Michael.
Looks great. Give it up for Michael. That's the one. You sure about that? Are you looking for yours? I feel like you are. All right. Go ahead over there and tell us what it says. Now I'm going to ask you when the show ends to drop your own question in here for another guest.
Okay. All right. Wait, so what do? I put in a question?
You put a question in
Okay.
here, and then we
Do you
pull
have to
it.
know what it is?
No.
Okay.
I'd rather not know what it is.
Okay.
Michael.
This one says, "What was that definite moment in your life that made you want to do what it is you do right now?"
So that is from Dan Dearborn from
Dearborn.
Encore Studios, featured in episode 113 of the Middleman Podcast.
Mhm.
Dan Dearborn. So the question was, what was that defining moment that
Mhm.
that shaped you into what you want to do right now, essentially?
Yeah, that defining moment in your life that made you want to do what you do right now.
Okay. I can
don't-
go first.
Yeah,
you can go first.
I don't think I have one, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly trying new things and doing new things until something pops, until I figure out my calling, basically.
I foresaw that answer
Yeah.
coming. I did.
Yeah. Like definite moment. That's hard to say because like you could say the mushroom was like that pivotal moment, which changed my thinking, which changed the outcome of my life and the path of my life. But I don't want to just bring it down to just that. you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, that was definitely a significant point in your life. You know what, man? I think that could suffice as your answer, most definitely, because like it changed your life for who you are now. Like if
Yeah.
you never had that experience, then who knows who you would have been? You know, the What If series. Who
I
would have
know.
Mike been? You know, you would have probably been the same guy, and you know, you would probably have been more filled with negative energy.
I could have been dead, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I really don't know who you hung around with or anything of that nature,
Uh-huh.
or you know the environment that you grew up in. But you know, sometimes bettering yourself definitely gets you out of harm's way.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I would agree with that for you.
Yeah.
For me, what is that definitive moment that made me realize that this is what I want to do? And when we say this, I mean this. You know, it's kind of hard to pinpoint, you know, but I will say that the person who basically put me in this path, put me on this direction, his name is Joe Parada. I've talked about him on the show a few times already. I did this Snapchat rant called "What Would Kmart Shut Down?" And it was like every week, it was a 2-minute rant.
Mhm.
My nickname is Kmart. What will Kmart shut down?
Mhm.
And I would just shut down a topic. All right.
Mhm.
We're shutting down ice. We're shutting down baby leashes. We're shutting down mushrooms. We're shutting down stepping on Legos. Anything, right? And I'd just sit there and I'd complain about it and I'd be a little comical, right?
Yeah.
And then at one point he was like, "Yo, Kev, you should make something out of this." So then that's how what will Kmart shut down developed. Then that happened, and then it developed into the shutdown podcast because COVID happened, and then
Mhm.
that went for so long, and then you know we packed up, moved out to Scranton. Here we are, Middleman Podcast. So, that is the definitive moment, but it's kind of weird because like there was never really a telltale sign of this is who I was gonna be. I've always been extroverted, such as yourself. I've always been able to speak to people, but to be where I'm at right now, and podcasting and speaking to countless of people and having people trying to get on the show, running a music festival, building a team. This wasn't in a blueprint, not at all. It just kind of worked out that way. And that's just how it is.
I like where you're going with this. Yeah, I see great potential.
Oh, thank you, man. I really do appreciate that because I think no way. You're lying to me. There's no way. There's 50 minutes?
Yeah, we're at 50 minutes.
No, bro, we barely talked about Mike.
I mean, we're at 50
That's
minutes.
That's crazy, bro. There's so much more I still need to talk to you about. So let's get to it. That was Tea Time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. Arizona sponsor us. Back to the topic at hand. Back to who you are. The main reason why you're here. Surreal Surreal, your YouTube page, okay? Well, what put you on that path, bro? What put you on a path of, joining YouTube and joining social media and doing things with this avenue?
I guess seeing other people doing it and me knowing that I could do it and not doing it, eventually that snowballed into me actually doing it.
So who are you referring to the people as that you saw that were doing it? And
just creators on
Okay.
YouTube and people that I watch and people doing street interviews and podcasts. And I'm like, I want to try this. But I didn't have like a set base to do my podcast when I first started it. Very fucking bootleg. Like, I look back now, I'm like, all right, this could have been better, that could have been better, I could have said this, I could have said that. We're always constantly learning and growing. You never really fail. Like, you can't fail in the whole content creation. You just keep creating. And if something doesn't work, you continue creating, But time doesn't stop. Therefore, it's like nothing goes backwards. You can't fail. You stop there and think about why this didn't do a particular, amount of numbers, or this didn't go viral. You just keep creating, I've always been that kind of person. It's like, I'm going to keep creating until I figure it out, until something pops, until I find what it is I'm trying to do. And I enjoy talking to people.
And in my opinion, you've had some videos that have popped.
Yeah.
That have gone up. There are a lot. But I want to talk to you about your podcast here. What do you identify the base of your podcast? Why did you name it Surreal Surreal? You look up on the internet, what does surreal mean? Surreal means bizarre, or that's what they say.
Yeah.
So why Surreal Surreal? What are some other names that you maybe tested out before you committed to Surreal Surreal?
I had a bunch of names and they're so bad I can't probably remember them. I don't know why I came up with Surreal Surreal, honestly. Like, I know people say for real all the time, and I was kind of like saying that like all the time.
On a for real.
Yeah, no, seriously. So like, I was just like, surreal is a cool word.
Yeah.
Surreal. I'm kind of, like if you look at my cover banner on
Yeah,
YouTube,
it's a little funky.
Yeah, right?
It's a little wicked.
My friend Nick Zworzinski made that for me.
All right, yeah,
shout out Nick.
Very cool. So what would if people are coming to check out your page, especially when you are in the podcast realm, because as you just mentioned, you do street interviews as well. But when it comes to the podcast realm, what type of conversation could they expect to hear?
It depends on who my guest is, basically, but I try to always cover some form of like spirituality, what this person is about, what they do, how they feel on certain topics, very similar to what you're doing. You actually do your homework though. I would wing it. I would just smoke. Like
I do my homework.
You definitely do your homework, man.
I do my homework.
I appreciate it. You could tell.
I wanted to mention this earlier because it was in the video of you doing street interviews and you were doing trivia and you were giving people $20 if they knew who the president was and, so on and so forth. But there was one guy on there who was definitely a little blitz, but he said some pretty wise shit, like for being a little drunk. Do you remember?
Which guy was it?
He was talking about to all my content creators out there.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
he was cool.
He said something really great, and I really wanted to tie it in the beginning of the podcast, but I missed it. But he said, "You miss a day, you miss a week. You miss a week, you miss a month. You miss a month, you miss a year."
Yeah.
He says, "Just give up. Fuck it. Don't do it no more." And I was like, wow. I was like, that's how it feels though, bro. As I just mentioned, we just got back to posting.
He was litty titty.
It's been a few weeks, but it felt like months. And I'm like, damn, son, that guy's right.
Yeah.
That guy is so right, man. So, like when it comes to you and your platform, how do you go about finding guests and, trying to keep some form of consistency when it comes to just what you're doing with your platform? Because I don't want to single your platform as a podcasting platform because you do multiple things, and I think you really do a phenomenal job with these street interviews. It's unbelievable what you do out there, man.
Thank you.
People love that.
Thank
People
you.
love it. You got your backpack, you're all set up. Whatever equipment you got in there, bro, I need to know what that is.
Okay, I can
'Cause
show
I-
you what
I
it is.
really-
It's a very cheap setup. A very
Awesome.
cheap setup.
Like-
I would love to see you out there on the street.
You do fucking great with it, man. I think
Thank
we
you.
should go out there together. We fucking kill
Fuck
it.
yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, so how do you keep like consistency within your page? What are some of the what
You're asking
yeah.
me?
Yeah,
You're asking
I am.
me?
And it's hard because like I just want to know, like, you do a lot of things, Mike. You do a lot of things, but what do you do it for?
Myself.
Okay.
I want to like show myself that I have the creative ambition to make it in content creation, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep creating until I figure that out. And now that I'm working in TikTok Shop, it's revolutionizing everything about social media to me because now I could attach some form of a sale, some form of an ad. I'm working in natural, organic advertising now, basically. And anybody could do it.
And you have 2 TikTok pages.
I have like 5 or 6.
Okay, I ran across 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the 2 main ones.
Okay.
Yeah, one has 6,000 something followers, which I don't know if I could openly talk about this because I'm actually part of a group,
Okay.
but there is, well, yeah, maybe I could talk about it. You could buy TikTok accounts that were grown in other countries organically, meaning they have real followers, so that you could start selling on TikTok Shop right away. You need 5,000 followers to enable your ability to sell,
Mm-hmm.
So now you could attach an ad right to your video and make, 20 to 50 to 150K in a month just by this one organic advertisement that you sent out into the TikTok algorithm.
But you acquired the account from.
All right, so yeah, there's a Discord server that I pay to be in, and it's like a big community. There's a couple thousand people in there. All the different channels have, there's one that says opportunities, and that's basically like, we need content creators to post once a day for 30 days. Here's $300 to $500 to do it. We pay you through PayPal, but you need to make AI style content around this product and drive traffic to this link to, buy the product. That's if you don't have 5,000 followers. There's ways to funnel traffic to links that get the people the product that you're advertising. And a lot of people are doing it through AI generation, pictures and editing, and ChatGPT is a huge one.
Dr. Squatch.
Yeah, I'm working for Dr. Squatch right now as a brand ambassador.
What is it? You want to fight dragons?
Yeah, you saw it.
You want to get the ladies.
Yeah, it was kind of cringe. I mean, that was my first time that I attempted selling something. So it's different now. It feels more like I want to be natural. I want to be myself, but I'm also tying in the call to action. Buy now if you want this.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it is trial and error. You're basically, if you're working with a brand, you keep just thinking of creative ideas of how you could edit a video, hold somebody's attention, and want to buy the product.
So for the people watching who don't know your TikToks, we're going to get them overlaid. I know one of them is Mikey Reviews.
Mikey Reviewski.
Mikey Reviewski, and that is the page where you are doing a lot of the Dr. Squatch stuff as of right now.
Yeah.
And then you have Blazing Sigma.
Mm-hmm.
And did I say that wrong?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
That's so funny.
Why is that?
Because I just came up with that I was gonna make it a total private page and just post specific testosterone boosting supplements from it. But I didn't do that yet.
Well, I saw that there was a perfume or cologne that you were selling. Or
Her Loss, it's called. That's the company that I'm associated with. It's called Top Shelf Grind. I pay $50 a month to be part of their course, which they teach you how to do everything. Video tutorials, step to step being it. It's awesome fucking group. If you ever want to join and learn, it's definitely worth the $50
I saw they had
a month.
mushroom-based coffee.
Yeah, I'm a brand ambassador for that as well. So I have different funnels and different links that I'm associated with. That's all their products. That's Amazon associated.
Yeah.
TikTok, completely different.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But
So
the more avenues you have to sell products and represent products and get people to buy products through you, the more money you're going to make.
Well, you are doing this. You're definitely taking up every avenue, and you're exploring, and you're giving it a shot. And I can commend you for that, because when it comes to your YouTube page, when it comes to your TikToks, when it comes to your shorts, when it comes to your long form videos, you have a following, you have people watching. Although you may consider yourself, you had texted me a small time YouTuber or something like that.
Small scale. Yeah.
Small scale YouTuber. You're doing numbers, bro. You're doing numbers, and you're making great content. And I think about when you asked two African American males, you were like, "Is it weird for a white guy to have dreadlocks?" And the guy said something crazy. He said, "It's just locks for us."
Yeah.
He said it's just locks. He goes, white people added the dread on it because they dread it. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I was talking to this black chick today about who used to have dreads. I work with her, and I was telling her about that. That's funny that you mentioned that. But yeah, that actually blew up to that one wasn't, there was another one, same question, different guy that did 1.2 mil on TikTok. And then that one that you just mentioned did 565K on TikTok.
And are you actively going out there now to speak to individuals, or is that
I
something
haven't
you put on
done
the back
it in
burner?
another weekend or a month and a half with my friend. He kind of got uninterested because he started creating, my videographer who came out with me. He became uninterested because he started pursuing his own form of content, which he's doing stop motion shit for TikTok. There's an audience for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say something right before that. What the hell were we talking about right before that? Jamie.
Yeah, Mike. Mike. He's what were we talking about right before that?
You don't know.
He don't know. He was tapped out. Sigma and Blazing Sigma.
Oh. I started seeing my friend. I get a text from my friend one day. He's like, "Yo, you made it." I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean?" And he sent me the link to this YouTube short that had 50K likes or something of this black woman duetting my video.
Oh, very cool.
And she's just in the background, not saying anything, and it did fucking numbers. That I commented, I'm like, "Yo, that's me!" Where's the shout out?
That is amazing, man. That is amazing. Mike, we have breezed through this conversation. Time flew by, man, and I feel like there's so much that we didn't get to, bro.
Yeah, you could always have me back.
Yeah, no, I think we're definitely gonna have to do that, bro. But I really hope that I didn't deter the conversation from what you wanted to speak on while you were here on the show, bro. But I really do appreciate you being here. And I appreciate your platform. I appreciate this friendship that we've bonded over through in the steam room at the YMCA. But with that being said, man, this is your time to leave the people off of anything. If you want to shout them out, if you want to leave a message for people, the floor is yours. Yeah. Mike Farnolo.
Thank you. Yeah, just, I don't know, a message be yourself, keep creating until you find something that you truly love. I guess that's what I could say. I like to serve as an inspiration for people to be themselves. Don't be afraid to try new things. People are always going to have an opinion over what you do. And if you could accept that half the world is going to love you and the other half's going to hate you, it's kind of just takes the pressure off. Not everybody's going to love you, So just fucking live and breathe. Don't forget to breathe too.
Let's breathe. Let's breathe for a moment here. Ready? One more for the soul. Cool.
Let's get some W's in the chat. Come on, that was great. Yo, my guy did a
W's
great job.
in the chat.
And Michael, great job, bro.
Shout out, Mike. Shout out both Mikes in the booth right here.
Thanks
there is something crawling on the floor right there. I don't know what that is. Watch your foot. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of scary. I'll take care of it after this. It's not a cockroach. Don't worry, everyone. But that's kind of embarrassing. But with that being said, guys, I am the man in the middle, Kevin Martinez, here finishing episode 115 featuring Mike Farnolo. Make sure you guys check out Surreal Surreal. Check out his TikTok. Check out his Instagram. Check out his Facebook. And with that being said, I am the man in the middle, Kevin Martinez, on the road to episode 150. Thank you all for watching. Peace.